All right, welcome to this tutorial on Microsoft Word Basics. We're really just scratching the surface here on Word 2013. A lot of this stuff might even be familiar to you already, but I go over it because there are always people in this class who haven't seen or had to use any of these things before, so that's why we're reviewing it. Things are going to get a little more challenging, I promise, for sure. So again, these are just like the most minimal basics of things that that you're gonna need to know. So we're in Office 2013. First thing I want to draw your attention to is this quick access toolbar um, up here. And it's just a couple of easily accessible buttons in the upper left hand corner. Um, so this is, you click this little word icon and you can minimize, maximize, close the program. This little thing shaped like a disk is an easy save. In parentheses, you see that Control S. That's a keystroke you can use rather than scrolling up to hit that button. This undoes typing, this redoes typing. You may not see this on yours. I have a laptop with a touch screen, so don't worry about that if you don't have it. And you can also customize it. So you can add a quick print link, you can add a spelling and grammar check. I'll do a quick print link up here. So now you can see I've got a printer link. So if I didn't want to hit Control P or go into File and Print, and I usually just do keystrokes, then I can hit that button. So then we have our File tab. This is where we can get information on our documents. So we have our properties. So it gives me the document size, but since I haven't saved this, it's just a demo document. It says not saved yet. It's not going to actually calculate the size. It tells me page count, word count, how much time I've spent on it, things like that. So you get your properties. This info on protecting and inspecting documents, we're going to get to that later in the semester toward the end, so don't worry about that now. So this is also where we can start new documents, either blank or from templates. We can open existing projects that we have. We can also save the current document. And what we'd actually be doing here, since I haven't saved this yet, is a save as. So I clicked save, and it just takes me right to save as since I haven't saved it yet. And asks me where I want to save it. I'm not going to really save it for now because this is just a demo document that I don't need after. It's not even any coherent text. But you would go and save. I'll go through a save real quick since we're here. So this is it automatically wants to save to my OneDrive. You can have it changed to your computer. You could add another place. I'm just going to go to my OneDrive for this is actually a section from my other class, but that's fine. Demo 1, Word document. I hit enter, and it's now saved. Go back into File. We can print through here. So I'd sync it up to my printer if I wanted to. Share and export, and these options we'll get to later. But basically it's a lot of stuff that you can do from just the File tab. Now we're in the Home tab. And there's a lot going on here. It's the Home tab for a reason. Most of the stuff you're going to use is right here. Honestly, these are where the very basics of formatting are. So I want to draw your attention to your clipboard up here. I hit this little arrow button and now my clipboard popped out. And you can see this text is in my clipboard because this is some just filler text that I copied from a filler generator online and then pasted into the Word document. So if I just wanted to cut out the word bacon, I'm going to hit Control X. Oh, here, I'll hit cut. You can hit cut, or you can hit Control and X. I'm going to hit enter, and then I'm going to paste. You can also hit Control V. That's what I prefer to do, but for the purposes of this demo, I'm just going to paste the word bacon several times. So you can see the things you have cut and pasted. I'm going to copy instead of cut. So cut takes the word out. Copy just makes a copy of the word but leaves it in its place. I can also then click on the item and have it paste. And the reason it's bolded right now, is because of a default setting I have on my personal version of Word. I'm recording this on my personal computer. Yours won't do that. Don't worry about it. Don't be confused. That's just how I have my settings configured. And we'll look into configuring settings at a later date. But for now, don't worry about it. So, again, your clipboard, you don't have to have your clipboard showing. I usually actually don't work with it, but whatever helps you is great. So now we have our font section, and here's where you basically go and can do things to text. So if you want to change your font, I'm going to do a couple of paragraphs in Calibri, because why not? So you just hit it. You can go with, so these, it says theme fonts, Word 2013, there are different themes that are that are pre-installed that you can select. So the default theme for 2013 has Calibri as the main font. You have your recently used fonts here, so I'm just going to pull up one of those. This is not a pretty document. I'm doing it for the sake of, just showing you. You can also say there's something you want, but it's not easily visible, and you don't want to scroll through all fonts. So we're going to go with Comic Sans, which is a horrible font, but just to show you. So what I just started doing was typed COM into this box up here, and now I have Comic Sans. So those are a couple of different ways you can get to different fonts. Also, say you want to change the size. So you can go in here, just hit these numbers, and say you actually want 18, no, I want 16. You can do that. You can just highlight what you want and select it. And there you go. You can also, you're going to have to highlight it, but there's this button here where you can just hit it, and it's increasing a font size every time you hit it. So watch this here when I hit this again. Now it's up to 16. Say you want to make something smaller. Well, you can do the same thing with the other button to the right of it, as you probably already guessed. So now, see, it's 12 point, this highlighted font here. Now it's down to 11. Now it's down to 10. You could have also gone through here and just selected it. Whatever you want to do is totally fine. Play around with it, basically, is what I'm suggesting. And then you saw when I pasted, I had stuff automatically in bold. It doesn't necessarily have to be, in that way. But you can hit bold, say you want to make it bold, and it isn't bold, you can just go and hit that letter B. You can also click, let's see if it shows up when I mouse over it, Control B, so that's the control key and the letter B. You don't hit the plus key, you just hit the button Control and then the letter B, and then it bolds. Italics, again, you can hit this button, or you can hit the Control key and then the letter I. And this goes for, so I'm not going to show underline, I'm sure you've pretty much figured it out by now, but if you do hit this little arrow here in underline, you actually have a bunch of different lines to choose from, and that's pretty cool. I'm going to do a double underline, why not? And you can actually format your underlines. You can change the color. I'm going to, well, I needed to actually highlight that, so that's not going to work. See? So I'm going to change my underline color to blue. And I don't know how well it's turning out on your screen, but it's a dark blue color, and I hope it shows up. Say you want to actually make something so I'm going to cut this word. Say I want to make say I want to make a word superscript, which is usually a number, honestly, but just for the sense of today, I'm going to paste that here. I want to make it superscript. So I'm going to highlight it, make sure it's totally highlighted. Hit X, and I didn't highlight that period, so it didn't go up. But see, we have this superscript. Again, normally that's a number. I'm just playing around. So if I want to make it a subscript, again, normally that would be a number. But see, I hit this key here, right here, and now it's below. I'll actually put in some numbers in so you know what it should actually look like. So I'm going to put the number 1 in and superscript it, and there you go. I'm going to put the number 5 here. Superscript. Remember, just highlight the number you want to make superscripted. And there we go. And you can also do things with fonts. So you can, if there are things you want to highlight, you can hit this highlighter tool and highlight them. If you want to, you can give them all sorts of weird effects. So I hit the little arrow here. You see I'm sort of scrolling over these things and it's changing the way the font looks. It's giving it. So these are preset ones. You can also go in and change whether there's a reflection or an outline. So I'm going to put an outline in green. And if you want to just change, so that gave it effects, you can also just change the text color and leave it flat without effects. So if I hit this button right now, it would change it to red because that's the one that's on screen. I'm going to make it orange, so I'm going to click and make it orange. Just remember with font effects that, keep them to a minimum. We will talk about some of the principles behind design a little later in the semester, but less is usually more. Let me show you what I did. I clicked this little arrow here, and this took me to everything that's in here is also here in a pop-up window. So it's just a different way to go and get things. You can even get the text effects by clicking here. It's just a different way to go about it. One of the things you can do from this font table is set things as default. But I could have this green italic 10-point with this green cover, and I could set it as default. I can make it the default for this document, or I could make it default, and then so any other thing I typed in this document would have text like that. Or I could have it be the default for all documents, and every single document I then pulled up would do that. I don't want that. But if you did, you would just hit OK. I'm going to hit cancel. I'm just going to cancel again. So now we're in the paragraph portion of things. So this is where you can do things like, so this right now, this whole document is left aligned, so it's straight on the left side, jagged on the right. If we wanted to center align some text, we would highlight it, center it. So now you can see it's jagged on both sides, and Word does that automatically based on how to make things even, so it's evenly jagged on both sides. There's also right alignment, where everything is straight on the right side, jagged on the left. And then there's what's called justified, where everything, as you can see, it's a straight edge here and a straight edge here. One of the downsides to justified alignment is that sometimes words or letters or the spaces between them can get stretched in weird ways to actually make everything fit right. Word is not the most robust software, so I do just recommend standard left alignment. You can also you can indent by hitting the tab key. It's on toward the upper left hand side of your keyboard, or you can indent by hitting this, and you can undo the indent this way. You can also turn things into bullet points. So right now, there's no bullet points. Here these are symbolic bullet points, or you could go into numerical bullet points. I'm clicking on the numbers so you can see there are different formatting options. So there's numbers, there's letters, lowercase letters. You could do outline setting for your bullets. I will recommend, again, less is more, so pick a simple bullet if you're going to use it. So I've bulleted that line. If I want to make more bullets, say I want each of these to be their own item on the list. I'm just going and hitting enter, and Word is automatically putting in new bullets. Very useful. You can also, this is a quick tab to adjust spacing. So right now, I think the default, it's at least 18 point. So it's not even technically single or double, but you can go in here. So I would like this to be exactly single spaced. Now it's exactly single spaced, or I want it to be 1.15. 1.5, 2, and as a side note, there's no double spacing allowed in this class unless otherwise specified. So I'm going to put this at 1. I'm going to show you another way to mess with paragraph spacing in a second. I did want to point out this button here, we'll get into that later when we do tables. This button here, the show hide button, is very useful. It shows all of your formatting marks. It can also make things look weird, but here you can see every time I hit the enter key, you can hit every space between words. It's very useful for proofreading, and it'll be useful for some other things later in the semester. I often like to leave mine on. It gets distracting, so I'm going to turn it off. Here are some table effects that, again, we're going to get into in a couple of weeks. But I'm going to go into this paragraph setting button and show you, again, like this font section, the paragraph section also has that same setup, where you can go in and do things with it. So say we're going to talk about spacing a little more later, but I can adjust my spacing from here. I can adjust my indents. The alignment that I showed you how to adjust. And in line and paragraph breaks, we'll talk about this a little more, but I do recommend going in and checking and seeing if you have window and orphan control on. It's just a good thing to have on. That basically keeps it from like one line being on one page of text if there's a page break. But again, we can get into that more a little later. You can also set things up as defaults from here as well. We're going to skip over styles. That's definitely something we're coming into later. Insert we'll get to later. Design. So design is different in 2010 and 2013, and we'll have a whole section on that in a little bit. Again, we're just scratching the surface. Margins. So I have mine set. Currently, so it shows first your last custom setting, which is not actually what I'm using right now. Right now I have 1 inch all around, which is my set default in Word. And you can tell because it's got that blue square around it. But it's very easy. Say I wanted to switch the margins to the custom setting, and now you can see how my page changed when I changed those margins. You can just toggle in between. I can make them really narrow. Generally, we're going to just start with using 1 inch all around for now. We may change those a little when we get more into book design. But for now, 1 inch is pretty standard. Orientation. Normally, for this class, you're pretty much going to probably do something in portrait mode. Landscape just flips everything 90 degrees, so the longer edge is on top. Let's see. Size. Normally for this class, you're just going to do 8.5 by 11, but it's just good to know where this is and play with different sizes. You may end up creating a project that you want to format differently. As for the rest, columns we're going to get to later. I just want to call your attention, see how in the home page we had, and I went in here and there's indents and spacing and line and page breaks. That is also available in the page layout section. We can adjust our indents here. So I would like to indent this paragraph this much, and that's too much. I'm going to go down a little bit. I would like to adjust the spacing in this paragraph from 18 to, not 24, 12. So Word makes a lot of things available in multiple places. These are just some of the very, very basics. We will get into more. I hope this has helped you, and I look forward to seeing you next week.